What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we'll talk about the second banner from the SaGa Scarlet Grey celebrations. We already have all the information because there was a data download and also a video. We know what Tsubaki, Kumi and Chiago Lisboa will be in Global. We're gonna talk about that in a few, but first let's talk about the datamine. We got information about new events. Battle with Celestial will be an attacks event. Those that you fight many times and get formation medals to exchange for new formations. This is awesome, and I do believe that the new formation will be this one here. Called BJ&K on JP. It increases action order, and then just decrease action order from other slots. It increases STR, I think, entrance, agility and intelligence from slot number 1, but also gives 1 BP on the end of turn. Remember, characters that lack 1 BP to get good cycles. Well, they won't need Anya that much, but with Anya some other stuff can happen as well. So it's more for solo farming from what I see. And then there's this other formation that actually works for boss fights, and I don't know if we'll get this on this new update or in the future. Okay, now let's talk about some other stuff. This new event will allow you to farm this welfare version of Antonius. Like I said in my older video, he is a very strong and capable farmer, and it's free, so let's get this guy. Oh, this is me from the future. I forgot to mention that they added a new S version of Urpina in the game. This is Global X, and it's more for inheritance than anything else. She gives you access to Sonic Slash, a fast single target attack, so that you can use with the Christmas style if you want to open with AoE, then use single target in the backline of a Magia 5 formation, for example. Also Flash Triple Thrust for a better single target option for Slash and Pierce when you think about the newest style. As you can see it here, she has only a power, now she has double S as well. And then there is Rising Nova plus this attack. We all know it's very good because it has slash and hit damage, but carries a buff break. Some bosses will buff themselves when they attack, allowing them to reach very high damage. So in order to survive, we use Rising Nova. So for those that will summon on the current Urpina, or for those with some of the latest styles, you now have another character that can buff break. This new event will also allow us to farm the Platinum Pickaxes. That means yet another Master Holy Stone. So choose well based on what you are lacking. And we'll also be able to get S version of Mondo, Dual Element Staff, and this new sword with double S Heritage. New slide shows that this new event will also help you increase levels for your skills, because it will work kind of like Seeker's Path. So very nice, you can increase the status and also skills level. We'll also be able to get 2000 gems from home screen missions. It's been a while. And that's it. Now let's talk about the characters. On the same post on Reddit we have the information about the new ones. Tsubaki was only buffed for resistance. She got a bigger endurance, now 80%, because she's a magical tank. She didn't have good endurance, but some bosses will just cycle between physical and magical attacks. This helps a lot. Here he was buffed even further, now reaching 110%. This is awesome value. She's a character with well-rounded status, 170% dexterity, and then 88 for both intelligence and agility. These values are usually enough to debuff enemies that are not into, well, very hard challenges with bosses with extreme values for will. In those cases, I do believe she may need help to buff a little of her intelligence. Now, she has a very special mechanic. She has Scrum Guard that decreases damage by 20% to the party as long as everyone is alive. And then on turn begins, she grants everyone a defensive stance spell that decreases magical damage by 25%. Lasts for the whole turn, so as long as she's alive, everything will just work. She's comparable to the tank version of Gustav that can apply actually a bigger buff, decreasing by 35, but he needs to use an active skill in order to cast. But he can cast it for 100% of the time. So she gets rune passive, applies to everyone, and can still do damage. Yeah, she also has this 5% debuff to intelligence that works in any attacks and recovers 1 BP when she attacks as well. So you can just go for her skill number 3 if you want. That is double S attack that has a chance to debuff 20% intelligence. We reach 25 because of the passive, and it will buff will by 30% for all surviving allies. This is nice because it's just making her even better as a magical tank to the party. She is not a real tank that just stays there. She is helping the party survive better against magical attacks. Or you can choose to use the skill number 2 that is weaker. It's just C power, but it's full AoE, and also debuffs intelligence by 20% or 25% because of the passive. So for single target scenarios, use the single target attack. For multiple enemy scenarios, use the AoE one. You should not be using the first skill anyway because, well, it's not important. So she has a full kit that will work in enemies that uses magical attacks. Besides, she will always help in Remembrance. There is a version of J-Mew that also has Scrum Guard, and he has Guard up. He will work better for mixed situations, but you can still combo them together. It will just make Remembrance even easier, but you still need to see if you have enough damage too. Now moving to the next one, we have Kumi. This is a definition of a placeholder damage dealer in my opinion. She works, but she has no future style. She has very nice STR and agility, as you can see. She uses great swords. So she's more of a farmer than anything else, but works well in Remembrance if you want her to be there. Just not the best character for the future. 79% extra is good enough, her endurance are not bad, so she kinda works well. She buffs her STR when she attacks by 15% and recovers BP by 1, something that some characters in the past didn't have as a guarantee. We're relying on RNG to get this stuff, so okay. Then Great Block Tension decreases damage received by 25 and increases her damage output by 30. Fired up 7 increases it further to total of 70%. That's actually very good. Then she has the first opener that is Vandalize Plus. This attack here is awesome. They even made it better on global. For only 10 BP, you get 3 hits of B power. It has 21 mods on the start of the calculations, but even then, 3 hits of B power will do 4S damage when compared to other skills. And then if you have the Remembrance Greatsword, you do even more damage. And this skill is also available on Silver. You can use the Global Axe style or the Halloween even if you don't have the UDX as well. And it makes Silver even better. But this character also has, and because the first hit will buff her STR, then the second and third will do more damage, but they will not trigger the passive multiple times, only once on the first hit. Still helps a lot on farming, and since she gets 4 BP per turn, she actually can use this once every 2 or 3 turns depending on the BP that you are generating. This is enough to make her strong for Remembrance against single bosses. And you should just avoid using skill number 1. I would much prefer something like a Healing Blade attack that just self-heals a little, because you don't want to use Blast Plus. This is a strong attack for the cost, only 4 BP, and it carries stun. But, well, you want to nuke with Vandalize, it's just better. Then the second skill was changed in global for 6 BP, and it just attacks between 1 to 3 times with C power. If you think about this, it has column damage. For 6 BP, the average will be 2 hits. It justifies the 6 BP cost if you hit 2 times, but you are playing with RNG. At least they added this defense down to apply on the enemy, and she has very high agility. She will be attacking before your other characters most of the time, increasing the overall damage on that turn. You can try to use this just before nukes from other characters. For example, you just have 6 BP, and then you have other characters with higher skills, then you can use this just before so you can increase a little of the damage. I don't know, I don't think it's reliable for farming, it's just here. Most of the time you just want to use normal attacks and cycle Vandalize. It's a character with no future that just works, but nothing special. Then Chiago Lisboa got very big buffs. Well, his STR now is 118%, 95 endurance and 93 will. He can take some damage. His dexterity is 77, good enough, I guess, most of the time. Agility on 84, he's not that fast. Then they changed almost everything. In JP, he had a 25% chance to get 6 VP. This is terrible. Then they changed it so that he gets 15% increase in damage at all times. When his HP is not full, he gets another 10. Let's start counting. 25. He will also decrease damage taken by 10%. It's his only damage reduction passive, so remember about that. And when the turn begins, he gets 3 BP, but because of that, he will take 10% HP damage, and this will trigger 5 times in battle. There's a countermeasure here, we'll talk about it. So then he also has a second passive that increases damage by another 15%. As you can see here, we already have 30, 40. Then starts the fight with 12. Now, he gets a different passive that increases damage at all times by 30%, so 70 now, and then another 15, so 85. But most of the passives relies on having his HP on full. I mean, at least half of the passives. Here it's 30, and then we have here 10%. So 45% at all times, and then an extra 40 when not on full HP. And he will not be on full HP when you're farming, but on boss fights he can self-heal pretty well. First skill is just single target pierce with 0 cost, and can stun the target with medium chance. Well, his intelligence will only work for remembrance. Now, his second skill is a 9 BP cost, single target attack with pierce and shadow damage. Nice that it's shadow as well, so it will be even better when we get Saruin. And it will trigger recoil damage to the party, hitting them all for 20% of their HP. The good part is that it will always trigger his passives, so he will always be on 85% damage increase before attacking. But, well, in real boss challenges you don't want to attack your party unless you have something planned. This is just made for farming and raids. I do believe he becomes now a very good character for raids, because he can actually use this skill on turn 1, then on turn 2, on turn 3 he will not have enough EP, and then again on turn 4 and turn 5. 4S attacks in 5 turns. He's comparable to Darkest setup, when you can use it on full potential, but Darkest sacrifices 80% of his HP. On raids, usually he's going to die. 20% of recoil damage is not that much you can survive, and he just can land the damage needed to get all the treasure chests and still bring 4 characters as trainees. It's an interesting setup. But if you want to bring him for real fights, you can. Well, he can just cycle a different type of nuke. This one has the same power, but loses the shadow damage, increases the BP cost from 9 to 12. And this recovers his HP by around 1000. So you can bring him from Remembrance as a placeholder damage dealer as well, especially because we have Matriarch. She helps a lot there. If you don't have any good damage dealer, you can bring the guy and he will self-heal when needed, even though he only has 10% damage reduction. Because of self-healing, he can survive pretty well. So, well, this banner is better than Arpina's banner in my opinion. I will be giving a silver award because, in the end, I believe that Tsubaki is a good character to have if you don't have, well, the tank version of Gustav, or if you're having difficulty on Rapier Remembrance, and this character will be used for a long while. She has a longevity in the game. And Chiago will work for farming scenarios. You can do plenty of damage with this character by use of second skill. On farming on raids, it just works, and there's even a way to use him outside of that. Kumi is just a damage dealer that can work on Remembrance, but is a placeholder, a character with no future in nothing special. But still, I do think that you get more by investing here than any other, although it still is a skippable banner for many if you cannot find utility on Tsubaki. With all that said, this is my opinion. What is yours? Please see here in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video.